Hello and welcome back. We're going to finish up on inventory here, and then we're going to move to property, plant, and equipment. I think it's going to take me one more video after this one, so I'll try to go quickly. Let's finish talking about inventory. We just finished up on methods for valuing inventory, such as FIFO, LIFO, and average cost. A few other things I want to bring up on inventory. In a manufacturing environment, you're going to have three inventory accounts. You're going to have a raw materials inventory, which is the products that you purchase, the things you need to be able to produce your final product. So let's say you're a manufacturer of gasoline. Well, in raw materials, you're going to need some crude oil. So crude oil would be an example of an item that would be in your raw materials inventory. If you're a car company, you need metal to make a car, so that metal or steel would be considered raw materials inventory. Then you have work in process inventory, and that's where you started working on your final product, but it's not completed yet. So work in process inventory is just all your products that are not finished. Then you get to finished goods inventory, and those are your completed products that are ready to be sold. If you're in a merchandising company like Walmart, you buy your products already in that final form. You buy a product that's completed like a tube of toothpaste, and it's immediately ready for sale. Related to inventory, we're going to look at gross profit. And gross profit simply is sales minus our cost of goods sold amount, and that creates gross profit. Gross profit's related to a value that you would identify on the income statement. A few things here. Quicker sales of inventory will help improve your operating asset performance. Even a smaller value, if you can keep less value in inventory, meaning that if inventory is $100,000, a smaller value having inventory of only $50,000 would also improve how operating assets perform. But you don't want to have too small of an inventory, because if you don't have enough inventory, you may not be able to meet demand. Customers may come in and want to buy something, and you can't supply them with what they want. So inventory levels, you have to watch them. You want to have a sufficient amount of inventory, but not so much that inventory is just stacking up, getting more and more, and people aren't buying it. Finally, if you look at the inventory turnover ratio, a higher value there is better. And we will move on to property, plant, and equipment. Property, plant, and equipment is reported on the balance sheet at its net value, or what we like to term book value. Now, book value is simply the cost of the asset minus the accumulated depreciation that's been taken on the asset. So cost minus accumulated depreciation leaves you with book value, and that book value amount is what gets reported on the balance sheet. Now, GAAP allows us with multiple ways on how we come up with book value, or essentially how we show that the usefulness of an asset goes away. So the GAAP choice we make will have an influence on values reported on the balance sheet and what gets reported on the income statement through something called depreciation expense. So the income statement's affected by something called depreciation expense. There are many depreciation methods. I'm not really going to make you calculate any of the methods, although some of them are pretty simple, like straight line, or let me just give you the methods. There's straight line depreciation, there's units of production, and then there's also accelerated methods. And they mention one in the book called double declining balance. That's an accelerated method. And then I also want you to know there's something called MAKERS, modified accelerated cost recovery system.